What's up today, guys? It's a stormy, crappy day. So we're gonna do a video on a lost fire issue in the V8 GMC Sierras or Chevy Silverados. So this will fix your 4.8, 5.3, 6 liter, or even 8.1 if you have this issue. What happens is truck just dies on the road. Crank the starter, it rolls over. Truck will not start, and if you pull the plug out and check it, you'll have no fire. So this actually didn't happen to this truck. I'm just using mine for an example, but I've actually seen this case numerous times in these trucks on the 4.8s, the 5.3s. The last one I fixed was actually a 6 liter. So to explain what happened, the truck that I fixed last week, first thing I noticed was his main ground from the battery to the block of the engine was in super poor shape. So we replaced that. The customer had already put a brand new fuel pump in the truck, put a brand new crank sensor in the truck, and we were going to put a cam sensor in, but I said no, it wasn't throwing any codes. When I hooked the live data to it, there was absolutely no codes whatsoever other than evap, which was irrelevant and doesn't matter. So after doing a little bit of digging and research, I actually found on a US Google forum site for GMC that a lot of these trucks for some reason just had this issue. So it's a ground issue. So if you verified that you got good fuel pressure, your starter's cranking, but your truck just will not start, and you've already checked your ground going to the block of your motor, and you've already checked your grounds down here on your cab mount, which are right up in there, and your truck still won't start. So here's what you got to do. When you get up underneath the hood here, crawl up here. I always use this side because I've actually seen dealerships and they fix this side. So what happens is you lose your ground going to your ignition system, and I'm assuming probably to your fuel injectors as well when this acts up. So you'll have fuel pressure, but if you pull the plug and check the plug with no fire, it's actually not spraying anything. So what you do, it doesn't matter which side of this plug you go on, but if you unplug this sucker and you flip it upside down, you're gonna see a black wire in the corner right here. Bottom corner against the firewall is your black wire, so this back corner. What you want to do is splice into that black wire and just run it up here to this firewall ground right here. And I've seen it 3 times now, which is why I'm making this video. The moment you hook that wire up to that ground, the truck fires up and works 100%. And the customer the other day didn't quite believe me when I did it, so I actually just had the ground, like, you know, finger tight on the bolt, and I grabbed it and pulled it off, and the truck immediately died. So what actually happens, I'm not 100% sure if it's a break in the wire harness, because like I said, his truck, he had plow gear and stuff on, must not have had it grounded well, assuming he got his ground hot going from the battery to the block, which was why it was in such poor condition. And I don't know, it's an old truck, so there might have been some sort of electrical surge because of his plow gear. And if that was the case, then I would assume that the ground would be taken right out of the computer, but the computer's still putting power out. But I haven't actually verified. It's either one or the other. It's either a break in the harness somewhere, and normally in these situations what I would do is I'd pull the computer, I'd do the pin out, find the ground, run a new wire, and that would tell you the story. But this customer was more about quick, efficient, and just wanted the truck fixed and done. So I mean, it's no more simplistic than to just go from that harness up there to that firewall. And if you guys had one of these trucks just up and die on you on the road, and not want to start again, if you're not throwing any codes, you probably shouldn't throw parts at it right away. It's always good to do electrical testing and whatnot. And in his particular example, I actually did get his truck to start a few times because I beat around the bush and I didn't hook this wire up right away. There was a couple times that I managed to get the truck to start and it ran for a few minutes before it would actually act up. But in the end, we ran this wire, it fixed the problem, and the customer's still driving the truck. I told him next time he calls me with an issue, it'll be something other than what we did. So, for you hardcore GMC guys that like fixing things yourself, I hope you like this video and I hope you watch it and I hope that it helps you out. And it's more common to see this issue on the newer style Gen 3s. So my truck, like I say, I didn't actually have this issue with mine. I'm just using it for an example because it's the same wire harness, same everything. But most of the time this issue is seen on the 2004 to 2007 models. Usually the prior models 04 and below, this issue's not as common. But again, if you're in a situation where you have no fire at your plug, your motor cranks, you have good fuel pressure, and it just doesn't make sense why your truck's not starting, it's gonna be aground somewhere, guaranteed. And in this particular case, like I said, this was the easy fix. And yeah, the customer was actually ecstatic when I got his truck back up and running. Because we actually had some snow here a little bit ago and he had to use it to go out plowing, so it was good to get him fixed. And usually when, actually that was him that just drove by there in his newer truck. But usually when I get involved with problems like that, I like to see it out through to the end, because there's nothing worse than not being able to figure it out. So I hope you guys, if you're still watching, please subscribe to the channel, give me a like. I tried to explain this as thoroughly the best that I could, you know, without getting all the tools out and hooking everything up again. I mean, it's pretty easy to hook a fuel pressure tester there to the rail to see if you got pressure. Very good tool to have. Usually one of my first go-to tools when there's a motor issue, just to be sure, you know. But other than that, I did a lot of reading on Google before I actually found good information on this. And there is another guy on YouTube that did this video as well, and he shows the truck running and it dies when you pull the wire off, exact same as what I just explained to you. So yeah, hopefully this helps you out and get your truck back up and running. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.